gal at 25, her sexual value, her sexual abundance is starting to go. Have some empathy for women. They go through worse problems than you do in the dating world.
You think 25 is, they're kind of going over the hump?
Well, it's one way to look at things, because nature's designed us to build things. It's designed women to carry children.
That was a good dodge.
Carry healthy children.
That was a good dodge.
And so young women are more fertile. Like that's not the entire picture of a woman's value, but biologically,
flashes to an old woman.
Younger women are just
it's like, what does she think?
Yo, they did her dirty, man. They did her dirty.
Old. How are you reacting to this?
Well, Rollo Tomasi is a blogger, author, and YouTuber whose 2013 book, The Rational Male, has come to be considered the unofficial Bible of the manosphere. Now, he says everything that you hear from Andrew Tate is usually a derivative of his book and his teachings.
We have women.
And that's a hard pill for a lot of people, fans of Andrew Tate, and a lot of fans of a lot of other, even respect to the other Godfather, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Bro, they've all ripped off Rollo's stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's you take it and then make it your own. But like a lot of people don't want to give Rollo his daps on that.
You know, the way I put it is there's no ripping off truth. Truth was truth before Rollo or anybody that's ever articulated it the way they articulated it was born. Right. Truth is truth no matter who says it. That's a popular saying. But it's the way in which Rollo interpreted these things and these statistics for his audience in his books, the specific way it was interpreted, and then with his own kind of syllabus of terms that he uses to describe the material that he's talking about. It's when you hear it quoted that way. And I mean, I don't have any terrible shade to throw at Tate, but I do think it's funny that he always said the Matrix. That was his thing. You think of Tate, you think of the analogy of the Matrix, but then Tate would say like, well, I'm not exactly one of these red pill guys. Okay, how do you escape the Matrix? You take the red pill. So it's okay. Interesting.
Women who are building themselves up according to this strong, independent, female empowerment narrative. And as a result, all they've done is become the man that they wanted to marry. And guys don't want to have anything to do with that. So what do I tell them? What do I tell that chick who's 26 years old, who's probably making more money than most of the guys I know? She's an alpha male, right? What do I tell her? Dumb yourself down? The first thing out of my mouth is, well, you need to be more feminine. Right? Get in touch with your feminine side. You've got to invest in your beauty, invest in your femininity, rather than, being worried about like starting some gourmet cupcake retail outlet.
Talk that shit, Rollo.
Then I'm not feminine, and then they're not going to want to get with me. Oh, well, you mean I'm going to be 38 and lonely? I guess I'll die alone. Yeah, unless you do something. And if that sounds like dumbing yourself down, then I don't really know what else to tell you.
That's a great clip.
Yeah, I like that. That's what they chose to show.
That's true. Yeah.
So your book and the things that you espouse predated Andrew Tate.
By about 10 years. All I do is present facts. And what happens is particularly now, and I've been doing this for about 20 years, you will see a lot of come-ups right now who want to take it and run with it on TikTok. They want to take it and run with it on Instagram. We live in the social media.
He is wearing Thor's necklace. Look at that.
I know. I peeped that because I'm wearing Thor's bracelet.
I don't have my Thor bracelet on right now, but shout out to Thor.
Yeah, Thor's shit made it to national television. Thor's good people.
Yeah, age. And a lot of the work that I've done really for about 20 years right now gets distorted.
Great angle on it,
and I think we're at that point right now where things are getting distorted. And again, to the point where I've got to come on the Dr.Phil show and be an apologist for Andrew Tate, which I am not going to do.
I think I was with him when he bought that suit.
Why do they call you the godfather of the manosphere?
The manosphere is sort of a consortium of guys who get together and they compare notes. So the manosphere proper started right around, I would say 2002 in forums. It developed and evolved out of the old pickup artist seduction community forums that were online at that time. And then it developed into the blog era, and then it developed into the social media era. And now here we are in the YouTube era. And it's been, like I said, about 20 years coming right now. But the manosphere proper is a consortium of guys who get together and they compare notes about really three main things. money, muscles, and game. So, and by game, I use game in the terms of social skills at this point. So,
and these pickup artists.
That's a cut,
sites
by the
that
way.
you're talking
That was a
people
really.
Did you hear it?
putting up websites and all about how to pick up women.
that originally was discussions on forums where men all over the world would get together and say, let's compare notes. Let's compare notes. Let's get together and let's see if we can figure this out.
Well, I've seen a lot of seminars and stuff where you can sign up and take a course, and they guarantee you if you have trouble getting dates or picking up women, they tell you that they guarantee you.
Now, you know how he's saying this guarantee stuff? Mm-hmm. Now, there was guarantee things way back in the day. I'm talking about
the old school pickup.
The really old school. They were promising crazy shit.
Old school pickup grifters.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that's when Dr. Phil was a lot younger, right? And was maybe looking at it like,
it's like, honey, sorry to break it to you, but about like when I was meeting you 20 years ago.
No, it's you're not off by that. He could have been like out here trying to look at some side.
That's why he pinpointed the term pickup artist, not anything else that Rollo said. He's pickup artist. We'll elaborate on that.
Remember, it was like what was it? I forgot who said this quote, but men tend to dress in the decade they last had sex in. Like a lot of men get stuck in that old archetype, so they're wearing the disco clothes. That's when they were getting laid.
That's when I was laid.
That they were getting laid before marriage.
Yes, typically, okay. As well as a lot of men just get stuck in a certain area because that's when they were popping. You know.
Yeah, because I have a lot of sex and I have no style. Like as far as what I wear.
That's what you're gonna wear the rest of your life now. Then
is this because I sleep with dirties? That I've just been wearing the same black T-shirt and my own logo and my.
Wait, we talking dirty? So what should we talk about?
No, but
no, we can just keep it pushing.
Do you know what's funny when I'm thinking when I watch this clip? I know he's Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm so used to being around sharp-witted people. You guys included, Rollo included, my brothers included, Rich included. And the attention span of the internet, because we're products of the internet, that's where we broadcast, is so in my mind when I'm talking. It's never like I can truly be free when I talk, but it's good to be on tempo because like I know like I got to be quick so you guys could talk. I got to be quick because of the attention span of the viewers. And I think it's amazing that Phil can even have a show where he can take that long to get a question out. He's like the manosphere. There were these things like how long it takes him to. We stopped it while he was trying to get out his question for 60 seconds. I just think it's funny.
But that shit is hilarious to me. So, and that also there's this whole thing with media and a lot of the guys that were in their 20s or like 25, 30 years old when the internet was just starting up, and then they went into these businesses and now we're kind of more either working for the CNNs, the Foxes, have their own daytime talk shows, or these older YouTube channels and stuff like that. If you notice that when they think of the red pill, that's always, they think back to early 2000s, like 2005 to 2002. Because that's probably the last time they were really like out here trying to get like, cushy and stuff like that. And then they got married or just settled down basically from there and just got back to work. And then when they think back, then they think back to the last time they were like with pickup artists, they're thinking about like a 20, the industry has moved 20 years. It's advanced just as much as technology is advanced. The red pill, I wouldn't even call it the red pill, but like whatever that was, the early pickup artist thing, because it was like pickup artists.com boom, and then it kind of morphed into the red pill eventually.
Pickup artistry was basically just like only talking about cold approaches pretty much, right?
Yeah. And like RSD sort of stuff.
And then there was like really generic shit, like what you should wear, what kind of cologne you should put on, shit like that anybody could have written. And I hopped in a Rule Zero for 5 minutes one time. I made fun of John. He made fun of me. I made a point and I left. And that point that I made was I said, I actually asked Rollo, I said, yo, Rollo, I actually remember when I was a kid, we had those what you laughing at me because I stuttered when I was a kid. I actually remember magazines that still said like how to get the hottest girl, things of that nature. And there were still magazines when I was a kid that taught women the same shit. It would say like the 5 most like pleasing moves to him in bed, or like how to really get a man, or how to like really sell a man on you. And then 20 years on, now I noticed that all disappeared because
women still have that though.
Well, they have, but now, but that evolved to like most of, if any, reading material for women that is like a reverse red pill for them is shit like how to play men straight up. It wasn't like how to, because those magazines back in the day were that like how to be more feminine, how to like things like
I got that book that I want to Do you know Red Pill Chauvinist? He's one of our hosts on
That
the
name is
podcast.
incredible.
Yeah, shout out to
Jesus.
Red Pill
balls.
Chauvinist.
Yeah, the balls. right?
Anyway, so he's an RP.
You heard of Mahogany, right?
He's an RP author, and I got this book that I want to do a podcast with him. You guys might have heard of it. That I want him to like break down and combat some of the points. It's a female like reverse side book, and it's called. You can beat this out if I can't swear. It's called Why Men Love Bitches. And the book, I was reading through it a little bit, and it's hilarious. So I want to do a whole podcast where we run through it. But they still have books like that. They sell well. It's a New York Times bestseller.
Wow. Really?
Mm-hmm. It's like
send it to me.
it's like literally teaches like if he is not of a certain value, don't make anything that's not in the microwave.
Dude, there's one there's another point in it. I was reading it, and it was like if you're losing an argument with your significant other, if he's winning the argument, change the topic to a time where he was wrong. Or another one was if you're losing the argument, bring up somebody he doesn't know about and say they agree with you.
Yeah.
And there was just a whole list of how to handle an argument in your favor, and it's a crazy read.
It teaches manipulation.
Yeah, so we're gonna break it down on a pod.
Did you ever hear about? I forgot the name of the lady, but Deion Sanders.